Einstein didn't just predict the future, he warned us, and his warning is happening right now. In 1945, just months after atomic bombs destroyed Hiroshima and Nagasaki, Albert Einstein made a prediction. He said humanity had entered a new era, one where our technology had outpaced our wisdom, and he gave us a choice. Either we evolve morally and politically to match our scientific capabilities, or we face extinction. That wasn't hyperbole. That wasn't fear-mongering. That was Einstein's considered judgment after watching what his equations had made possible. 80 years later, we're living in the future Einstein warned us about. Artificial intelligence, climate change, engineered pandemics, nuclear weapons spread across the countries. And the question Einstein posed is more urgent than ever. Can we evolve fast enough to survive our own ingenuity? Today, I'm going to show you Einstein's actual prophecies, not vague predictions, but specific warnings about the future of humanity. What he got right, what he got wrong, and the one prophecy we're watching come true in real time. This isn't history, this is right now. Let's see what Einstein saw. Prophecy number 1. World War III will destroy civilization. Einstein's most famous prophecy is this. I know not with what weapons World War III will be fought, but World War IV will be fought with sticks and stones. People quote this is all the time, but they miss the context, and the context is terrifying. Einstein wasn't being poetic, he was being literal. After seeing what 2 atomic bombs did in Japan, he calculated what a full-scale nuclear war would do. And he calculated it would end civilization, not damage it, not set it back, end it. In 1947 interview, Einstein explained, the unleashed power of the atom has changed everything save our models of thinking, and thus we drift toward unparalleled catastrophe. Notice that phrase, changed everything save our models of thinking. Einstein's prophecy wasn't just about weapons, it was about the gap between our technological power and our political maturity. We can split atoms, we can release energy equivalent to millions of tons of TNT, but we still think like tribes, we still solve conflicts with violence, we still divide the world into us and them. That mismatch, Einstein said, would kill us. In 1950, he went further. He told journalist Alfred Werner, if I had known that the Germans would not succeed in producing an atomic bomb, I would never have lifted a finger. Now we face the prospect of total annihilation, and I don't see how we can avoid it unless we fundamentally change how human societies are organized. So has Einstein's prophecy come true? Not yet. We haven't had World War III. We've had 80 years of tense peace, proxy wars, close calls, but not the apocalypse Einstein predicted. Why not? Pure luck? Rational deterrence? Or something else? Einstein would argue he'd been lucky. He knew about nuclear close calls, though not all of them happened in his lifetime. The 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, where we came within hours of nuclear war. The 1983 Soviet false alarm incidents, where one man's decision not to report what looked like an American first strike prevented atomic retaliation. We've rolled the dice dozens of times, and we've been lucky dozens of times. But Einstein's prophecy includes a timeline. He didn't say World War III will happen. He said, unless we change how we think and organize ourselves, World War III is inevitable. The prophecy isn't fulfilled or falsified yet. It's pending, and the clock is still ticking. Prophecy number 2. Nationalism will become humanity's deadliest disease. Einstein didn't just predict nuclear war. He predicted what could cause it: nationalism. The tribal identification with nation-states that he believed was fundamentally incompatible with human survival in the nuclear age. In a 1929 essay, Einstein wrote, "Nationalism is an infantile disease. It is the measles of mankind." Strong words, but Einstein had watched nationalism destroy Europe in World War I. He'd watched it rise against in Nazi Germany, and he concluded, national sovereignty in a world of weapons of mass destruction is collective suicide. His prophecy was specific. As long as there are sovereign nations possessing great power, war is inevitable. And his solution was radical: world government, a single global authority with a monopoly of military force, making war between nations impossible. In 1946, Einstein helped found the Emergency Committee of Atomic Scientists. Their mission statement, written largely by Einstein, declared, "With the release of atomic energy, our generation has brought into the world the most revolutionary force since prehistoric man's discovery of fire. We must recognize that mankind has entered a new era, and that the unleashing of atomic power has changed everything except our way of thinking." And then the key prophecy: the solution is a world government with a monopoly on military power. There is no other way to prevent nuclear war. National governments must surrender their sovereignty to humanity will perish. So what happened? Einstein's prophecy failed, in the sense that we didn't create world government. The United Nations was established, but it's not what Einstein envisioned. It has no military monopoly. It can't override national sovereignty. It's a form of discussion, not a global authority. But has Einstein's underlying prophecy that nationalism leads to catastrophic war been proven wrong, or has it just been delayed? Look at our world today. Rising nationalism in Europe, America, China, India, Brexit, trade wars, border walls, America first, China first, the erosion of international institutions and treaties. Einstein would look at 2025 and say, "You're moving in the wrong direction. You're retribalizing exactly when you need to be globalizing, and the weapons are more dangerous than ever." His prophecy about nationalism wasn't wrong. We just haven't reached the conclusion yet. The question is, will we prove Einstein wrong by evolving past nationalism? Or will we prove him right by destroying ourselves because of it? Prophecy number 3. Technology will outpace wisdom. Einstein's third prophecy is the one we're living through right now. The significant problems we faced cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created them. This wasn't about nuclear weapons specifically. This was about the fundamental relationship between technological power and human wisdom. Einstein observed that every major technological advance, fire, agriculture, metalworking, gunpowder, fossil fuels, nuclear energy, increased humanity's power to shape the world. But our wisdom, our ethics, our capacity for good judgment, those don't increase automatically. In fact, they might not increase at all. In a 1946 essay titled "The Real Problem is in the Hearts of Man," Einstein wrote, "The release of atom power has not created a new problem. It has merely made more urgent the necessity of solving an existing one. One could say that it has affected us quantitatively, not qualitatively. What's he saying? That the atomic bomb didn't create a new moral challenge. It just made an old challenge. Human violence, tribalism, short-term thinking, exponentially more dangerous. And his prophecy was, this pattern will continue. We will develop more powerful technologies. Genetic engineering, artificial intelligence, nanotechnology, and we will not develop the wisdom to use them responsibly at the same pace. The gap will widen, power will increase exponentially, wisdom will increase linearly, if at all. And the gap, Einstein predicted, would be our downfall. Let's check his prophecy against reality. Genetic engineering. We can now edit human embryos. We can create designer babies, eliminate genetic diseases, enhance intelligence and physical traits. Do we have the wisdom to decide which traits to select? Who gets access? What counts as improvement versus inequity? We're figuring out as we go, and the technology is outpacing the ethics. Artificial intelligence. We're building systems that can outperform humans at an increasingly range of cognitive tasks. Do we understand consciousness well enough to know if we're creating suffering? Do we have the political structures to ensure AI benefits everyone, not just the powerful? Do we even agree on what we're trying to achieve? No, but we're building it anyway. Climate change. We've had the technology to radically alter Earth's atmosphere for over a century. We've had the scientific knowledge of what we were doing since the 1960s. Do we have the wisdom to stop? The international cooperation, the long-term thinking? Clearly not. Einstein's prophecy is coming true in real time. Our technological power is accelerating. Our wisdom, measured by our ability to cooperate, think long-term, and act in collective interest, is not keeping pace. And Einstein predicted exactly what would happen. We'd create problems we couldn't solve. We'd build weapons we couldn't control. We'd alter systems we couldn't understand. He was right. Prophecy number 4. Education will fail us. Here's a prophecy of Einstein's that nobody talks about. He predicted that our education system would fail to prepare humanity for the challenges ahead. In a 1952 essay, Einstein wrote, "It is not enough to teach a man a specialty. Through it he may become a kind of useful machine, but not a harmoniously developed personality. The student must acquire an understanding of and a lively feeling for values. He must acquire a vivid sense of the beautiful and the morality good." And then the prophecy. Otherwise he, with his specialized knowledge, more closely resembles a well-trained dog than a harmoniously developed person. Einstein believed that specialized technical education without philosophical, ethical and humanistic foundation would create people with power but no purpose, skills but no wisdom, knowledge but no judgment. Sound familiar? Look at Silicon Valley. Brilliant engineers creating social media platforms that maximize engagement without considering the psychological effects. AI researchers building systems that could reshape civilization without adequate safety research. Biotechnologists editing genomes without comprehensive ethical frameworks. These aren't bad people, they're well-trained specialists. They're incredibly skilled at their craft. But Einstein would say, they've been educated to solve technical problems, not to ask whether those problems should be solved. They've been trained to make things possible, not to consider whether those things are desirable. In a 1949 essay, Einstein was even more explicit. Why does this magnificent applied science, which saves work and makes life easier, bring us so little happiness? The simple answer runs because we have not yet learned to make sensible use of it. His prophecy: as technology becomes more powerful, education that focuses solely on technical skills become more dangerous. We need people who can think philosophically about purpose, ethically about consequences, and globally about impact. Has this prophecy come true? Look at the crises we face. Are they caused by insufficient technological knowledge or by insufficient wisdom about how to use that knowledge? Climate change. We have the technology to transition to renewable energy. We lack the political will and cooperative frameworks. Nuclear weapons. We have the technology to disarm. We lack the trust and institutional structures. AI safety. We have the technical capability to build powerful AI. We lack conscious on what we're trying to achieve and how to ensure safety. Einstein's prophecy is being validated every day. Our education system is producing specialists without wisdom, experts without judgment, people who know how to do things but not whether they should. Prophecy number 5 will face a choice between evolution and extinction. Now we get to Einstein's ultimate prophecy, the one that encompasses all the others. In the final years of his life, Einstein became convinced that humanity faced a revolutionary choice. In a 1950 television interview, Einstein said, "The splitting of the atom has changed everything, save man's mode of thinking. Thus we drift towards unpropelled catastrophe. We shall require a substantially new manner of thinking if mankind is to survive." Notice these words: if mankind is to survive. Einstein wasn't confident we would. He was saying survival is conditional, it depends on whether we can evolve. But he wasn't talking about biological evolution. He was talking about moral and political evolution, the evolution of consciousness, of values, of social organization. In a 1946 essay, Einstein elaborated, "Man has within himself the capacity to make life happy and secure through his intelligence. He has the capacity to use technology for human betterment, but the same qualities which make this possible, his intelligence, his inventiveness, also give him the power to destroy himself." And then the prophecy. The next phase of human development will not be like the past. We cannot progress gradually, adjusting incrementally. The scale of our power requires a leap, a fundamental transformation in how we think about ourselves, about each other, about our planet. Einstein believed we needed to evolve from tribal consciousness to planetary consciousness, from short-term thinking to long-term thinking, from competitive nationalism to cooperative globalism. And he predicted, if we don't make that leap, we'll destroy ourselves. Not might, will. So where are we in relation to Einstein's prophecy? Evidence we're evolving. Global institutions like the UN, WHO, International Criminal Court, international climate agreements, human rights frameworks, growing recognition of global challenges that require global solutions. Younger generations increasingly identifying as global citizens rather than just national citizens. Evidence we're not evolving fast enough. Rising nationalism and authoritarianism, weakening international institutions, failure to address climate change adequately, nuclear weapons proliferation, AI development race with minimal international cooperation, growing inequality within and between nations. Einstein's prophecies posed an either-or. Evolution or extinction. But what we're seeing is something more complex. Partial evolution, uneven evolution. Some domains progressing while others regress. question is partial evolution enough, or does Einstein's prophecy require complete transformation? The prophecy we're ignoring. There's one Einstein prophecy that almost nobody discusses, but it might be the most important. In 1949, Einstein wrote an essay called Why Socialism?, where he predicted that capitalism, left unchecked, would lead to the oligarchical control of the economy and eventually to the crippling of individuals. He wrote, "The economics energy of capitalist society as it exists today is, in my opinion, the real source of evil. We see before us a huge community of producers, the members of which are unceasingly thriving to deprive each other of the fruits of their collective labor." His prophecy: as technology increases productivity, capitalism will concentrate wealth and power in fewer hands. The majority will lose economic agency. Democracy will become hollow because real power resides in economics, institutions, not political ones. And the result? The clipping of individuals is considered the worst evil of capitalism. Our whole educational system suffers from this evil. An exaggerated competitive attitude is inculcated in the student, who is trained to worship acquisitive success as a preparation for his future career. This prophecy is remarkable because it's so specific and so verifiable. Let's check. In Einstein's time, 1940s, the top 1% in the US owned about 25% of the wealth. Today, they own over 35%, and the trend is accelerating. The top 0.1% now owns more than the bottom 90% combined. Economic agency. Einstein predicted workers would lose bargaining power as capital became more concentrated. Have wages kept pace with productivity? No. Since the 1970s, productivity has increased 77%, while wages have increased only 12%. Democracy. Einstein predicted that economic power would overwhelm political power. Has corporate influence in politics increased or decreased? Citizens United, super PACs, regulatory capture, lobbying budgets that dwarf campaigns' budgets. Education. Einstein predicted education would become training for economic competition rather than development of full human potential. Is that true? Students' debt. Emphasis on STEM or employability. Humanities in decline. Mental health crisis among students. By every metric, Einstein's prophecy about capitalism is coming true. But there's what's interesting. This is the prophecies we collectively ignore. We debate his predictions about nuclear war. Everyone acknowledges that threat. But his prediction about economic structure, that's political, so it gets dismissed or ignored. Einstein would find that telling, because he believed the economic structure of society was inseparable from its capacity to address other essential threats. How do you get international cooperation on climate changes when nations are in economic competition? How do you regulate AI for human benefits when private companies are racing for market dominance? How do you build the global institutions Einstein said we need when economic power is concentrated in entities that benefit from the status quo? Einstein's most ignored prophecy might be the most important one, because it's about the structure that determines whether we can address everything else. The meta prophecy: we won't listen. Finally, there's Einstein's meta prophecy, his prediction about how humanity would respond to his predictions. In a 1949 letter to philosopher Max Born, Einstein wrote, "I have become an old man, convinced that the human race is not worth all the effort I have put into it. The more I see of human beings, the more I appreciate my dog. He's joking, mostly, but underneath the humor is genuine despair. Because Einstein predicted that humanity wouldn't listen, that we have the knowledge necessary to survive, but lack the will to act on it. In his final years, Einstein became increasingly pessimistic, not about physics. His equations were eternal, true regardless of human survival, but about whether humans deserve to survive. In 1955, just weeks before his death, Einstein was asked to join Bertrand Russell in issuing what became the Russell-Einstein Manifesto, a final plea to humanity to abandon nuclear weapons and war itself. The manifesto concluded with these words: "We appeal as human beings to human beings. Remember our humanity and forget the rest. If you can do so, the way lies open to a new paradise. If you cannot, there lies before you the risk of universal death." Einstein signed it, but in private letters he expressed doubt that it would matter. He predicted that humans would read warnings, understand the danger, and then continue on the same path anyway. Has that prophecy come true? Consider. We've known about climate change since the 1960s. We've had international agreements since 1990s. Have we acted at this scale required? No. We've known nuclear weapons could end civilization since 1945. Have we eliminated them? No. More countries have them now. We've known AI poses existential risk. We are prioritizing safety over development speed? No. We're racing to build more powerful systems. Einstein's meta-prophecy is the most depressing because it's the most accurate. We have the knowledge, we understand the dangers, we know what needs to change, and we're not changing. So what's Einstein's prophecy about the future of humanity? It's not one prediction, it's a framework. The diagnosis. Humanity has developed godlike technological power with Stone Age tribal instincts and medieval political institutions. The prediction: this mismatch will kill us unless we evolve morally and politically as fast as we've evolved technologically. The prescription: we need world government, economic reorganization, educational transformation, and a fundamental shift from tribal to planetary consciousness. The timeline? Urgent. Measured in decades, not centuries. The probability? Einstein became increasingly pessimistic. He doubted we'd make the changes necessary in time. 80 years later, where do we stand? Some of Einstein's specific predictions haven't come true. We haven't had World War III, we haven't created world government, but his framework, the diagnosis of technological power outpacing wisdom, is more accurate than ever. We're living through the exact scenario Einstein warned about: multiple existential threats, nuclear weapons, climate change, artificial intelligence, engineered pandemics, accelerating simultaneously, while our political institutions and moral frameworks remain tribal and short-term. The question isn't whether Einstein was right. The question is, can we prove him wrong? Can we be the generation that evolves fast enough to survive our own intelligence? Einstein's final prophecy was conditional. If mankind is to survive, that if is still unresolved. We're living inside Einstein's prophecy right now. Every day we're choosing, through action or inaction, which timeline will follow. The one where we evolve in time, or the one where we don't. Einstein gave us the warning. He gave us the framework. He gave us the predictions. What he couldn't give us, what no genius can give us, is the will to act. That's on us. this video changed how you see our current moment in history, subscribe to Einstein's Mind. We're applying the wisdom of history's greatest thinkers to the challenges we're facing right now, because that's exactly what Einstein would want us to do. Until next time, remember, Einstein's prophecy isn't about what will happen, it's about what will happen if we don't change. And that means the future is still ours to write. The question is, what will we write? Before you go, turn curiosity into clarity. Download Think Like Einstein, 7 Mental Models for Clear Thinking. It's free and it'll change how you think forever. Link below. Think Like Einstein. Subscribe for more.